Hey guys, I'm Blue, and welcome to another video. So, as you can tell by the title, we're going to go over another top 5 video, and this time it's top 5 movies. Now these aren't top 5 movies of all time or top 5 most popular movies, it's just my 5 favourite movies that I've watched. I mean, there's hundreds of movies that I've never seen and they could be my favourite, but out of the ones I've seen, I've managed to come up with a list. And as with the last video, I've got my honourable mention section at the end, which yeah, I'll talk a little bit about later on. But without further ado, let's get into the video.
5.
So, in the number 5 spot is a film that you've probably heard of, and if you haven't seen it, then I suggest you go and watch it. Pulp Fiction. Now, I'm going to be honest, I only watched this about a month ago, and I absolutely loved it. Like, I could see why it's renowned for like one of the most amazing films ever. I love how it's not in a chronological order, like it doesn't go in, it's a non-linear story, it's just random stories from different like time periods surrounding the the movies, and some of the stories meet and different characters end up meeting, and sometimes you just see one of the characters like in the background, you're not even noticing them until like it gets to their version of events. And it was just an absolute great film, and it's just got some amazing quotes in it and some amazing actors. It's got John Travolta, what's his name, it's got, I can't remember, Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, Christopher Walken, just really famous actors, and they're just absolutely great in the movie. It's just a brilliant film. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you go watch it.
This is a tasty burger. 4.
So, at number 4 is a Star Wars movie. Now, I don't know if you know this, but I'm an absolutely massive Star Wars nerd. I've seen all the films so many times. I've watched the Star Wars Clone Wars TV series, so I had all the toys when I was younger. I've played all the video games. I even read some of the comic books when I was younger. I've read some of the books. I'm just obsessed with Star Wars, and it was really hard to pick a Star Wars movie out of all 6. It was very difficult, but I had to put one on the list. And my personal favourite is, some people might not like it, but I went with Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and it's one of the prequels, which means a lot of people aren't too keen on the prequels. But I grew up when the sequels sort of came out. Like, I grew up watching them. Oh, I've got something in my eye, Jesus. Oh, that anyway, yeah. I grew up watching the prequels. Absolutely love the prequels. I've seen the original trilogy. Absolutely love that. I love all the films. There's a few things in some scenes in the prequels that I probably would change, but apart from that, I absolutely love them. And like, the prequels get a lot of hate from a lot of people. I honestly don't know why, because they're absolutely brilliant and they link up with the original trilogy brilliantly. But the reason I went for Episode 3 is because I feel like this is the most emotive one. Like, you've got a lot of things going on. You've got Anakin getting closer to going to the dark side. You've got him being in love with Padme secretly. You've got his friendship with Obi-Wan. You've got his rebellious nature towards the Jedi Council, and it all just fits together. And it's just such a great movie, and it's kind of tragic as well. If you've never seen it, you need to get out more. Well, the opposite of that, you need to stay in more and watch all of them, because they're absolutely amazing. I'm sure you can find them on the internet. If not, they're probably quite cheap to buy. You just need to watch all of them. But it's really tragic. For anyone, it's been out ages, but I'm not really going to spoil it for anyone that's not seen it. But basically, the final battle is so intense, not just because you've got two amazing Jedi fighting off against each other. It's their relationship between them that makes it so engaging with the audience, and it's just probably the greatest fight scene in the entire of all the Star Wars films. I know they're making a new Star Wars film, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, check it out if you want to, but it's an amazing film.
3.
And at number 3 is 127 Hours. Now, this film is, I think it won a few Oscars or something. It's based on a book, and it's based on the book is of a true story. It's written by the person it's happened to, and basically he was a free climber, and he goes into the Grand Canyon for a climb. He's done it a lot of times. He's just climbing under rocks and around the canyon and stuff, and he's trying to get over this rock, these two rocks, and there's like a rock in the middle, so it's kind of like to the sides, and there's a rock there, and he's trying to get over it, and he slips and hits the rock, and he goes down, and then the rock just falls down and traps his hand. Like, you'll be able to see on the clip I put the thing, it just traps his hand, and he's stuck there. And it's just such an amazing story of just determination and not giving up. And I'm not going to ruin what happens, but the way he gets out of it is, it's pretty gory, but it shows absolute like fearlessness, and he basically has to do it or he'll die, and he manages to live. And it's actually based on a true story. And the guy, he still does climbing. He's got I think he's got like a prosthetic arm or something. He still goes climbing, but now he always leaves a note, and he tells someone where he's going, and if he's not back by a certain amount of time, obviously they can go and find him, because he didn't leave a note the first time and he got trapped. But if someone was there to save him, he wouldn't have had to do what he had to do, probably. But it's an absolutely brilliant film. I absolutely love it. It's got James Franco in. He's one of my favourite actors, and it's a film that I recommend.
2.
And number 2 is the Batman movie, The Dark Knight. Now, this is my favourite of the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy, purely because it's got the Joker in, and it's played by Heath Ledger. I mean, sadly, Heath Ledger isn't with us anymore. He passed away during the filming, actually. Most of his scenes have been completed, but they did have to. I'm assuming they had to get another actor in that looks similar to him for some of the scenes, but you can't notice it. Oh, Heath Ledger's just a brilliant actor. He's one of the best Jokers that there's been. I think Mark Hamill was better, but Heath Ledger was an amazing Joker. Just an amazing actor. Some absolutely brilliant quotes in it. Some brilliant scenes. There's I think my favourite scene is when the Joker goes into there's a mob boss meeting. He goes in, and he is like, oh, do you want to see a magic trick? And he's like, I'm going to make this pencil disappear. Puts the pencil in the table, and this guy comes over, this like bodyguard guy, and he just grabs his head and smashes the pencil into his head. And he's like, well, it's gone. And it's just, I can't emulate how good of an actor he actually is. It's just a shame that he's not with us anymore, because he would be in so many films. He's just such a great actor, and it does sadden me that he's not with us anymore. But there's some great other actors in the movie as well. You've got Michael Caine, Christian Bale, Morgan Freeman, Aaron Eckhart, or I don't know how you pronounce it. It's like Eckhart, I don't even know, but he's in it, and it's just a brilliant movie. Like, I've loved comic books since I was like, before I even went to school, I loved comic books. I've always been brought up with them, and this Batman movie really pays homage to Lee comics, I think, a lot. Although it's a different spin on the Joker, he is equally as dangerous and threatening towards Batman and towards the people of Gotham. Yeah, it's just a brilliant movie, and if you haven't seen it by now, then I don't know what you're playing at. You need to go and watch it. It's just absolutely amazing. I recommend you start with Batman Begins and then watch The Dark Knight, and then if you want, watch The Dark Knight Rises, although that's not as good. All three of them are still great, but my personal favourite is The Dark Knight. Sorry about that, my camera went out of focus for some reason. I don't know if you're able to tell, but yeah, The Dark Knight, check it out.
And here we go.
And the moment you've all been waiting for, number one, it's Chronicle. Now, a lot of people have not heard of this film at all, or never seen it, and it's a real shame because it's such an unknown movie, and the idea for it is, it just seems a bit stupid, but then if you think about it, if you watch it, it's the best movie I've ever watched in my life, and I've watched it about 10 times. I intend to watch it again soon. It's just so good. If you could only see one movie in your entire life, I would suggest that you watch this movie, because every time you watch it, you learn more things and you notice more things about it, and it's just one of those films that you could just watch it a million times and never get bored of it, because it's just so good. I mean, I've watched it a few times. I can, like, on some scenes I can say the whole script before they even, like, well, at the same time as them saying, I can say the entire script. I mean, that sounds pretty sad, and yeah, maybe I have a bit too much time on my hands, but it's an amazing movie and I absolutely love it. The main actor in it, Dane DeHaan, is really good. He's going to be in the new Spider-Man movie. Oh, excuse me. He's going to be in the new Spider-Man movie. He's got his acting career's taken off from Chronicle. They are supposed to be making a sequel, but the original director from the first one got fired, so he's not going to be in the next. He's not going to be behind the next one. Although I heard his plans for him for the second movie, and I just wish they'd kept him, because he's an absolutely amazing director, and the things he did in the first movie are just absolutely amazing. I'm not going to reveal the plot or to anyone, because I just don't want to ruin the film, but the basic idea is there's some teenagers that I think they're at high school in America, and they're at a party, and one of them runs in like, oh, come see this, and they go outside and look, and they find this hole in the ground, and let's be honest, what any teenage boy would do, they'd go down the hole. And they find this weird crystal-like structure, and they hear this like high-pitched noise, and they just black out, and the screen blacks out. And one of them, the great thing about the movie, it's all filmed in like a handheld camera, sort of the one that I've got, because the main character, I can't even remember his name, the one who Dane DeHaan plays, is basically films everything, because he's, I don't know, he just likes filming stuff. And it cuts to another scene after where they're playing with a baseball, and they're just throwing it normally, and they throw it on the ground, it bounces up, hits the one of his mates in the the balls, and it just seems kind of normal. But then the next throw, he throws it like away from his friend, and then it curves back, and you're like, oh my god, what is going on? And it turns out that the crystal structure somehow given them telekinesis powers, and they can move stuff with their hands and do stuff, and then their powers keep getting better and better and better. And I'm not going to ruin what happens, but I will just mention one of my favourite scenes. There's a scene where one of the friends goes somewhere, and the other two, he texts them and tells them to go here, and then they go to the place, they see his car, and they're like, well, where is he? And they get a text and it says look up, and you look up and he's just flying, and it's just the best thing ever. Like, if I could wish for any superpower, it would be the superpower that they have in that film, because you can fly, move stuff with your mind, you can control, like, oh, it would just be absolutely amazing just to fly around the world. And it sounds really sad, but I think, if anything, that's the best superpower ever, flight, because what have men wanted to do ever since they saw birds? They wanted to fly. And I really like that part of the movie. But it's the most amazing movie. It's my favourite film. Please go and watch it, because it's so good, and you'll agree with me after you've watched it. And now we come to the part of the video with my honourable mentions. Now, the 3 movies that couldn't fit on the list, but I would have loved to put on the list because they're amazing movies, is Battle Royale, which is a Japanese film, and it's all in Japanese, but there's English subtitles, and it's similar to the Hunger Games but more gruesome and less whiny. It's just awesome. And the other movie is The Matrix. You've probably seen it. If you haven't, what have you been playing at? Because it's amazing. With Keanu Reeves. It's just, that's another one of my favourite movies. And the third one, a movie you've probably not heard of, Cockneys vs Zombies. Now, I know you're thinking that sounds absolutely stupid, but it's actually really good. Like, it's set in East London, and there's a zombie outbreak, and it's just it's the funniest film ever. Like, Chronicle is my favourite film because it's dramatic, it's action, and it's cool. Whereas Cockneys vs Zombies is an amazing film because it's just so hilarious, and it's the only comedy that's made it onto this list. It's just so good. It's not really heard of it. I don't even think it came out in the cinemas. I think it just went straight to DVD, but it's absolutely amazing, and I suggest you check it out. As with all the rest of these movies that I mentioned in this video, feel free to go and find them. I can't really leave links in the description because I just got clips from trailers and things like that I'm allowed to, like, take clips from. So if you want to find out a bit more about these movies, feel free to Google them or try and find the trailers on YouTube or whatever. But that's all from me today, so hope you've enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.